Listen here, boy. You're changing your clothes every day. You better not be shirking out on that very important duty. I make sure to put on clean clothes every single day. Some lazy slugs wear the same uniform all the time, and I've got a knuckle sandwich waiting for them. Speaking of which, are you aware of the clothing that makes you more powerful just by wearing it? I gotta get me some of those. Just imagine a shirt that'll literally boost your reflexes. That's some hot stuff right there. What? Whatever you say. Oh, is this a chest? These automatic vending machines tucked away in the corners of the certain dungeons allow you to buy and sell items in the same... Oh, these are shops. Oh, this is like the Wild Arms 4 shops. It has like the Jack-in-the-Box robot. That's neat. Yo, new drives? For new bullets? Oh wow, it's like all my money. Also, party. Put Avro back in. You know, I have all these Gela cards. We don't want to sell this because that's going to be relevant for a side quest later. I don't use Gela cards, I'm just going to sell all of these. I also don't really use gems either. Yeah, I don't use gems at all. I have a good bit of Devastates to sell. Hard jumper. I feel like I'm more likely to use Chuck than I am Carol. Oh, save point. I would like to save after all those sick cutscenes and everything. Wait, there's a couple of blue doors I didn't go into? Oh, Chuck is actually Akihiko. I was asking that last stream if Chuck is Akihiko from Persona 3. It did sound a lot like him, yeah. As for most of the other voices, people have already told me their voices. So I already knew them. Chuck was the one I didn't know because we had just gotten him at the time. Up to the bridge. So, this is the Captain C, huh? Looks awfully stiff. I wonder how it feels to sit in it. Oh, hey. Johnny. Hey, it's that cool guy from before. So you're Johnny Appleseed. I guess I got a little carried away there. Pardon me. I don't think it'd be right to call myself Johnny Appleseed in this company, now would it? I'm the former Johnny, to be accurate. Okay, so Johnny's like a title. I was starting to think like Johnny's not an actual person, it's more like a title or something. Former. Now I'm totally confused. Sorry about that. Johnny Appleseed was a name they gave in ancient days to people who opened up new lands. Okay, so yeah, it's like a title. Hey, come to think of it, the mayor of Gonan said the same thing about a custom of planting apple seeds for people that came later. Ah, you know about it? That makes it easy. So yeah, we call our leader Johnny Appleseed in honor of that tradition. Wait, so you mean there's more than one Johnny Appleseed? Yeah, basically. It's a title given to only one person at a time. Ah, so you were the previous one. Yup, exactly. You catch on fast. So now we just call you Captain? So then who's the current Johnny? You'd never guess. It happens to be someone you know quite well. It's Avril. A certain little lady named Avril Vent Fleur. She's the current Johnny Appleseed. What? Avril, you're Johnny Appleseed? Well, she hasn't gone through all the ceremonies and stuff yet, but they're, for all intents and purposes, yeah. Oh, you gotta go through like all those, like, you gotta go through like a course to be Johnny Appleseed? You gotta get certified? So the person we came all this way to find is actually Avril? All this time, she was right under our noses. I'm Johnny Appleseed? What's wrong, Avril? Well, Avril's suffering from amnesia, so... What, she's lost her memory? That explains a lot. No wonder the radicals hadn't fully activated the TF system. They couldn't. But wait, she shouldn't have forgotten her position, unless maybe when we lost her. So if Avril's Johnny Appleseed, then I guess she's a Varuni, right? Well, not exactly. She's neither Varuni nor a human. She's a common ancestor of both, an inhabitant of Filgaia from 12,000 years ago. Are they gonna have to introduce time travel into this plot? Because Avril is from 12,000 years ago, but she looks so mighty fine. What, you're not surprised? And here I was all set for another big outburst. Well, it's just not easy to imagine that she could be 12,000 years old. I mean, she looks so young. Yeah, you got a point. Sorry about that. It's a bit complicated, but let me explain. You see... Many apologies, my liege. I was unable to recapture her. Though I must admit, it was unexpected that the moderates would attempt such a drastic move. I told you, we should have just killed her when we had the chance. And then how would we activate the TF system, genius? Watch your mouth, Karthikeya. But where is Elvis? I know he was summoned. What is it with Wild Arms 5 and having all these, like, names of history people? He's out at the coffin. He said there was something he wanted to check on. That man, he has no sense of responsibility at all. You, bring him back now. Yes, sir. My liege, please accept my apologies. I will personally see to it that we succeed in recovering Avril. No, remain here until Elvis is returned. I have another idea. Let us offer eternal rest to those who hesitate to embrace death. Ha ha ha. And this is my friend Rebecca, who I grew up with. It's nice to meet you, sir. And I'm Dean. Nice to meet you, Captain. You introduced yourself last, you madman? Well then, from the top, welcome to the Mayflower. I'm the ship's captain, Bartholomew. Bartholomew is the name of the guy who had the boat. He gave us the boat in Wild Arms 1. It was called the Sweet Candy. I remember that. So that's like a nod. This isn't the same Bartholomew, but that's a nice nod to Wild Arms 1. Call me whatever you like, as long as it's not Johnny Appleseed, okay? See, I kind of like it better that you're Johnny Appleseed. Like I said before, I was only Johnny up until the settlement on Filgaia. Now I'm just a captain of the Mayflower. Gotcha. I'll just call you Captain then. So, back to what you were talking about. All that about the radicals trying to use this TF system to reform Filgaia, is that all true? Yeah, I'm afraid so. They're no different from the radicals that left Filgaia 12,000 years ago. They won't hesitate to use the TF system for their own ends, regardless of what it does to anyone else. You said reform the planet. You mean it's a device to restore Filgaia from its weakened state? Not exactly. To be accurate, it would reform the planet to make it suitable for Varuni to live on. As it is now, Filgaia is rejecting the Varuni. Many of us fall ill and even die from its effects. But even so, Filgaia itself is suffering from disease. If we were to cure the disease and restore Filgaia to its former strength, its rejection of the Varuni would become that much stronger, and we'd be even worse off. So it's closer to reform than restore. They only care about making it easier for Varuni to live, regardless of what happens to other native life forms. Regardless of what happens to other native life forms, you don't mean... I'm afraid I do. cost of using the TF system would be the death of all native life on Filgaia, including humans. I think Volsung will be okay with that. What? What do you mean, the death of humans? It's not complicated. Like, it's not rocket science. Come on. Even you should be able to figure that out, Dean. Exactly what I said. Pretty selfish of those radicals, don't you think? Even now, at 20%, we're starting to hear of human casualties. Hey, now that you mention it, I wonder if Pastel's illness was caused by the TF system. And maybe that time I got a fever, too. Oh, it's just as bad as I feared. And if it's this bad at lower power levels, then running it at full power will result in the extinction of all humanity. No, we can't let them do that. Don't worry, they can't bring it to full power as long as Avril's lost her memory. What do you mean? What does Avril have to do with the TF system? The TF system was built with a lock so that it can only be activated by the leader of the radical movement. The radicals of 12,000 years ago, that is. Ah, so Avril was the key. The only person authorized to activate it was the king. Well, at the time it was a queen, so the Queen of Filgaia. Without that authorization, the TF system's power source can't be activated. But this is all ancient stuff. For one thing, there's no system of royalty in place today, and all the bloodline has long since died off too. All the modern radicals have been able to do is feed its power from an alternative source, and that 20% is the best they can do. So they can't make full use of it anymore. Wait a minute, you said Avril was from 12,000 years ago, right? Exactly. Avril's the sole remaining member of that royal family, awake now after 12,000 years in cold sleep. Because of her icy, ruthless manner, they referred to her as the Ice Queen in those days. Cold sleep. I was a queen? So, Avril's the only one who can activate the TF system, which means she's the de facto leader of the Varuni, Johnny Appleseed. Wait a minute. If Avril had the authority to activate the TF system, she must have been one of those radicals, yes? But the radicals took to space. Why did she remain on Filgaia instead of joining them? Avril's the one to ask, don't you think? Without my memories. I could help you with that, actually, if you've got the courage for it. Courage? Well, if your memories return, the personality of the Ice Queen may come along with them. In that case, everyone here will become your enemy. Avril an enemy? We spent so long together. We've become such good friends. Yeah, and that's what I'm counting on. The bonds you've developed with Avril. I'm hoping the strength of those bonds will overcome the ruthless personality of the Ice Queen. That way she can regain her memory while still remaining the same Avril she is now. And I'd like you all to help with that. You sure are awfully cooperative. What's in it for you? Well, if you want to put it that way, then yeah, we're using you all for a political game. If Avril doesn't become the Ice Queen, it's a victory for the moderates after all. I see. A little give and take, huh? Yeah, so with that out of the way, all that's left is you, Avril. Do you trust him enough to try getting back your memories? I'm afraid of becoming someone else. I'm afraid that I may turn on my friends when I recover my memory. I can't let that happen. So you want to pass then. It's up to you. But there's still a chance your memories could return naturally, and the danger wouldn't be any less. Yeah, but that might take time. Given that, we'll have no choice but to confine you here and listen until that happens. You okay with that? Yeah, that's fine. No, it's not. Avril, you said so yourself. I've had enough of cold, dark places. The sunlight is just a few steps away. By the way, that flashback reminded me, I got a comment, I think it was today or yesterday, I got a comment that apparently there is supposed to be, every time, like, sometimes there's a flashback and it shows, like, an in-game screenshot. Apparently it's a glitch with PCSX2 because someone confirmed, like, oh, there's supposed to be, like, actual imagery during flashback sequences, so I feel a lot better knowing, like, it's probably just a glitch with emulation. Sucks, but makes a lot more sense. I just got reminded because of that flashback. You can't possibly want to spend the rest of your life holed up in a ship like this. I won't let that happen. Dean, I appreciate your sentiments, but Avril, do you really think the bonds between us are that weak? Something that would break just because you got your memory back? I don't. Not even the strongest arm could break them. Dean. I guess I'm not quite as optimistic as Dean. We are friends after all. Even if you do become the Ice Queen again, Avril, we can still be friends, right? Rebecca. Wait, I can't let you two steal all the excitement. We spent a lot of time traveling with Avril too, after all. Chuck really hasn't spent that much time with Avril. We know full well that Avril's not a bad person, right, Carol, Greg? Yeah. Of course. Chuck, Carol, Greg. You've got yourself some good companions there, Avril. Yes, they are invaluable to me. Come on, Avril, let's give it a try. There's nothing to be afraid of. We won't give up on you. Trust us, Avril. Dean, thank you. Captain Bartholomew, I would like to try to regain my memories after all. Alright, good choice, Avril. In order to get her memories back, I'm gonna have you dive into Avril's mind. Avril's mind? You should be able to recover her memories while keeping the Ice Queen sealed deep inside her. At least it's not Rebecca's mind. That would be a nightmare. Are you really okay with that, Captain? If we seal away the Ice Queen, then you won't be able to use the TF system anymore. Won't that endanger the Varuni? Well, I wish I had a nice clear answer to that, but don't worry, we'll figure something out. It certainly can't be as hard as it's been for you to protect Avril all this time. Besides, just trying to save ourselves with no regard for other life is way too irresponsible. If we do that, we'll just be setting ourselves up for disaster when the same thing happens again in the future. That's how we moderates look at things. That's certainly a constructive opinion. It's nice to know that there are Varuni who think that way. But didn't that Lady Diana also agree with our actions? Diana? Haven't seen her in a while. What, were you two lovers or something? Who knows? I've forgotten all that historical stuff. And yet you know so much about the world 12,000 years ago. Haha, fair enough. I'll be waiting in the sickbay then. Let me know when you're prepared. Can I take off the hem badge from Avril? Because I should probably do that if I assume we're not going to use her Avril for her own mind.
Wonder where we are in here.
It is not options to open the menu, it is triangle. Put this on like Dean or something. Get a little bit more XP on Dean.
Wow, that felt good.
Now, which one of these rooms is the sick bay? It's a lot of uniforms. I respect it. This reminds me of the inside of the Arsail from Shells in the Sky. The interior looks a lot like it. So, you're prepared? Yeah, ready when you are. Then each of you take out your mediums. Or mediums? Yeah, mediums are used to connect with their owners with something. Normally they connect people with Filgaia, but this time we'll use them to connect each of your consciousnesses. Ah, I see. Kind of like that machine back near Honey's day. Here, let me give you this. Use it if you need to escape from Avril's mind to come back here. Oh, they'll let me escape. I thought it was going to be like, hey, you got to do it at once. Or maybe that's like plot relevant, how you escape. Avril's memories are probably hidden away in her subconscious. You'll need to find and restore them. But as I said before, there's a possibility that doing that could return to her former ruthless self. Right, but we won't let that happen. I'm prepared to fight alongside them as well. Alright, ready then, here goes.